Let's take it here. Oh, hell no. I'm sitting here. I told you don't drop it.
Okay, you guys will be able to see it here.
Snake man's about to hit the ground, man. Okay. Go ahead and Jacoby, put that inside the bag. You got the gloves, right? Go put it in the bag.
This is Mr. Hanson.
What is this?
Okay,
This
at
is
some
Tony.
point, guys, you need to sit. You need Christian, Zach, go sit. These are who's up here.
How you doing?
Wonderful. Hello. I was gonna like.
Oh.
Now, are you ready? I need you to get this part. Go ahead, you get this part. Get that piece right. Go ahead, get that piece right there. Get that piece right there.
It smell like pee. Okay.
Go for it. Oh.
Touch
Okay.
Mr. Higgins in the face.
Oh, shit.
This pork chop.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie. You hungry? Go ahead, put that in there.
Evan, are you hungry?
Ew.
Wait, what if... What?
Just grab it.
What is it?
It's like a liver or something.
Oh.
Good, ew, Kobe. Let's go, Kobe. Let's go, Kobe. Tell him. Say, I'm the illest rapper alive.
Okay.
I'm the illest butcher alive.
Now, we're going to read a little story.
Yes, we are.
Eddie, come up here. Get that piece of paper.
It licked my fingers.
Did you say Eddie?
I said,
This side here.
All right, listen to this story, ladies and gentlemen.
Just listen.
Listen carefully.
We're gonna be acting this, but you just have to listen for right now, okay? No talking.
Leave the lights
No,
on.
lighting stand.
Okay, go ahead. Eddie, come up here. We want you to project to your people. Go ahead, please.
Jonas had told him how the meat that was taken as a pickle would often be found sour, and how they would rub it up with soda to take away the smell, and sell it to be eaten on free lunch corners. Also of all the miracles
Oh,
of chemistry which they perform given to any sort of meat, fresh or salted, who are full or chopped, any color and save in any flavor,
Listen carefully.
in any order of those they chose. In the pickling of the hams, they had an ingenious apparatus by which they saved time and increased the capacity of the plant. A machine consisting of hollow needle attached to a pump. By plunging this needle into the meat and working on his foot, a man could fill a ham with pickle in a few seconds. And yet, in spite of this, there would be hams found spoiled, some of them with odor so bad that a man could hardly bear to be in the room with him. To pump into these packers at a second and also much stronger pickle which destroy the odor, a process known to the workers as giving them 30%. Also, after the hams had been smoked, there would be found some that had gone to the bad. Formerly, these had been sold as number 3 grade. But later on, some ingenious person had hit upon a new device, and now they would extract the bone about which the bad part generally lay, and insert the whole in white hot iron. After this invention, there was no longer number 1, 2, and 3 grade. There was only number 1 grade. The packers were also originating such schemes. They had what they called boneless hams, with big knuckle joints, and nearly all the meat cut out, and fancy skinned hams, which were made of the oldest hogs, whose skins were so heavy and coarse that no one would buy them. This is until they had been cooked and chopped fine and labeled head cheese.
Okay, I'll keep going with this next little bit. Okay, we're gonna see what we're gonna do to this. Good job, Eddie. You did really well. It was only when the whole ham was spoiled that it came into the department of Elzbieta, cut up by the 2,000 revolutions a minute flyers and mixed with half a ton of other meat. No odor that ever was in a ham could ever make any difference. there was never the least attention paid to what was cut up for sausage. They would come all the way back from Europe, old sausage that had been rejected and that was moldy and white.
So here's what we have. This has been shipped over to Europe.
And we got it
The
back.
Europeans said, man, this stuff's rotten. We're not taking this stuff. We said, no problem. Here's what we're gonna do with this meat. We're gonna take this meat back in here, take it in the back room, and here's our staff of people. You guys, here's what we're gonna do with this. What happens next, Ms. Rates?
It would be dosed with borax
Oh,
and
look, come
glycerin.
here, miss. Come here, hold this, please. Yeah, well, that smells great. Yeah, okay, now,
Dose
we
it
need our
up.
borax, man. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of
Don't let
borax.
Michael do it, he'll pour it on the floor.
Yeah, Michael, no borax. Is it eating through your skin yet? Nope. Oh, you'll be all right in a few minutes. Hey, go ahead, put a little bit of
A
borax in.
little bit, not too much.
Okay.
What is it gonna do?
Now, here's what we're gonna do. What's the next
Put
step
some water
in
in
our?
it. It's gonna
Then-
be like acid.
After borax, you have to add glycerin.
You're gonna do the glycerin part. Go ahead and put a small amount.
Glycerin.
Put a couple ounces of glycerin in there, please.
Do you mean like just pour it over?
Not the whole thing. Put a little bit. I'll tell you when to stop.
About this.
Keep going and stop. Okay, next. What's our next thing?
After we've done that, and it's dumped into the hoppers and
Okay.
made over again for home
Well,
consumption.
now it's in our hopper. You know what we need to do next?
Mix it.
We need a
Yeah.
mix.
Oh,
Who's our
vanilla?
You gotta
mixologist?
shake it. No, you gotta shake
No,
it.
you gotta take your hands and it's a mixologist.
Kobe
got that one.
Oh, who's got
Kobe's
gloves?
got that
one.
Kobe, thank you very much. Dig right in, my friend.
You got it.
Here we
Kobe.
go.
You can do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got it.
Come on, Kobe.
Come on, Kobe.
Go, Kobe.
Okay, you cannot. Okay, Kobe, before you start, everybody that's sitting back here, no one can see anything because of this little posse, so we need to spread out a little bit.
Kobe, mix thoroughly, my friend.
Like
you
grab
want me
it and.
to, like break this thing up.
I want to mix it all together. Yeah. Don't lose your liver over it, but go ahead.
Come on, do it like man.
I am a man, but I don't think a man want to touch this.
Do it with vigor and intensity.
I'll do it.
Do it like you mean it. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Oh, that's looking much better. That's beautiful. Make sure you get that
Yeah,
glycerin.
see that white part right there?
Yeah, get the white part blended in.
Yeah, go ahead, right there. Look, I mean,
You gonna eat this when I'm finished?
Oh yeah, it'll be good to eat after.
yummy.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Oh man, that smell.
It's supposed to be getting better, man. Yeah.
I spray some cologne on it, Kobe.
Is it thoroughly mixed at this point?
Oh, ew.
Within
Pimp
reason?
it out. You get that? Pimp it.
Okay. I think we've done a pretty good job with that. Thank you, sir.
Kobe, snip your fingers.
What's up, Nate?
So now,
Triple OG, double OG.
now our product is ready to be shipped back to Europe. Ms. Rates, what's our next step?
Okay, after that, there would be meat that had tumbled out on the floor in the dirt.
I'm
and
sorry, somebody's
sawdust.
talking. I can't hear you. Go ahead, please.
There would be meat that had tumbled out on the floor in the dirt and sawdust where the workers had tramped and spit uncounted billions of consumption germs.
That's tuberculosis germs.
There would be meat stored in great piles in rooms, and the water from leaky roofs would drip over it, and thousands of rats would race about on it. It was too dark in these storage places to see well, but a man could run his hand over these piles of meat and sweep off handfuls of the dried dung of rats. These rats were nuisances, and the packers would put poison bread out for them. They would die, and then rats, bread, and meat would go into the hoppers together. So poisoned bread, rats, and this meat would go in together. This is no fairy story and no joke. The meat would be shoveled into carts, and the man who did the shoveling would not trouble to lift out a rat, even when he saw one. There were things that went into the sausage in comparison with which a poisoned rat was a tidbit. There was no place for the men to wash their hands before they ate their dinner, and so they made a practice of washing them in the water that was to be ladled into the sausage. There were the butt ends of smoked meat and the scraps of corned beef, and all the odds and ends of the waste of the plants that would be dumped into old barrels in the cellar and left there. Under the system of rigid economy which the packers enforced, there were some jobs that had only paid to do once in a long time, and among these was the cleaning out of the waste barrels. Every spring they did it, and in the barrels would be dirt and rust and old nails and stale water, and cartload after cartload of it would be taken up and dumped into the hoppers with fresh meat and sent out to the public's breakfast. Some of it they would make into smoked sausage. But as the smoking took time and therefore it was expensive, they would call upon their chemistry department and preserve it with borax and color it with gelatin to make it brown. All of their sausage came out of the same bowl, but when they came up to wrap it, they would stamp some of it special. And for this, they would charge 2 cents more a pound.
So we fixed our stuff, we set
Ready to
it
be
back.
sold.
You guys wanna see what that looks like when it's done?
Don't open it.
Yeah.
Hey, smell it, y'all.
So that's what
It smells good.
product, ladies.
Smells good.
It smells better now that they poured that stuff on it, definitely.
You smell. Go ahead, smell my hand.
Thank you, Kobe.
But you
Oh, yeah, they would eat it.
You gonna be going to bring a lotion.
Like how Danielle
Huh?
said, right, they can touch some of it.
Ew, quit touching it with your hands, Paul.
Should I like stop?
Anybody want to eat? Yeah. Good, okay.
Alright,
All right,
I'm
good.
gonna stop it.